Yes, I am late to this, I'm sorry, I just didn't want to rush, man. Idiot. There is a lot more to this story than simply rich guy is crazy. There are some really good lessons for us to learn. And if you will enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, really helps out. Let's go. Quick recap. Marques was caught going 95 in a 35 zone with a children's crossing. He tried to blur the speedometer to hide his crimes, but apparently he didn't notice that there was another one. He was being reckless, he could have potentially flattened a kid, and obviously should face some kind of consequences, blah blah blah, you know how it goes. But what I find really interesting about the backlash, which is obviously understandable and deserved to a certain extent, is that if any other controversial large YouTuber like the Paul brothers or Mr. Beast did this, people would not have freaked out as much and the story would have been buried within a day. But because it was Marques, things were different, because we began to see the cracks in what we thought was the perfect guy. You know, this might be quite sad to say, but it is honestly a miracle that it has taken this long for Marques to be embroiled, big words, in a scandal. Over the past 10 years, he has not scammed his viewers, he has not pushed some, degenerate coin, he hasn't had any spicy tweets, he hasn't been cancelled, hasn't delved into politics. Up until this and the wallpaper rap, there was simply nothing on this guy. Prior to this, the biggest crime that he committed was dropping 100k on cameras to record 8k videos that no one but him cared about. And over the years, we just saw him as this cool, chill, mellow, human jazz, golden retriever tech bro. And a lot of people within tech community, especially aspiring tech YouTubers, kind of idolize this guy. Even with me, and I've been watching him for more than 10 years, and Marques is kind of like my closest friend. So when we saw this, sweet boy being a reckless speed freak, it was like, goddamn Marques, slow down, son. It was shocking. It was like in that, movie Zootopia where there was a speeding car and then the window rolls down and it turns out it was the sloth. Not saying that Marques, is obviously a sloth, but you get what I mean, okay? And there are two, I think, important things that we can take away from this whole situation. The first is that, what we see of a person on YouTube is essentially, a carefully crafted brand image. Just because someone acts a certain way on camera doesn't mean that's how they are in real life. They're putting on a character for the channel, and that's okay. We just assume that just because he spoke calmly, that he drove calmly. And to be fair, there was some signs that this guy was a roadrunner.
For a tech guy, you're not afraid to throw a car around.
A little bit into it.
And secondly, man, just don't idolize anyone, alright? No matter how incredible they are or how inspiring their story is, they're still people. You should never look up to someone because that involves literally putting them above you, putting them on a pedestal and essentially deifying them. And that's just a recipe for disappointment. You can respect to appreciate what somebody has done, but just know that they have, just like everyone else, skeletons in their closet, in some cases literally. And with me personally, I grew up looking up to Steve Jobs and Michael Jackson and Teddy Roosevelt. I know, a strange combination of people. And as I learned more about these people over time, I would accept the fact that greatness doesn't always equate with goodness. And once again with Marques, he hasn't done anything close to these guys, okay? Jesus Christ. But he does have this very reckless, dangerous, potentially life-threatening side to him. And for those who say, I'm taking this too far and everyone speeds, who cares? And that's technically true. If you have lived a life where the worst thing that you have done is speeding and you didn't hit anyone, you're probably a decent person. But just because you did something bad and no one got hurt does not take away from the fact that you did something bad. He could have flattened a kid and ended them, which is the last thing that, especially America needs. He knew it was wrong and he tried to cover it up. Marques is really lucky that nothing went wrong. Because if it did, which it easily could have, we could have been living in a timeline where Mkbhd is hanging out with this guy in prison. He is extremely lucky, and although this is not the worst thing that somebody can do, it's no walk in the park either. So he should absolutely face some kind of consequences, whether it's a massive fine or some temporary suspension. I don't know, but he should face something. But the ultimate question is, will Marques be viewed any differently from here on out? And I think kind of so, considering the fact that he's always going to have to deal with the speeding related jokes in his comments, especially if he does another car review. And I doubt, this ever truly goes away. That's the price of, being famous or being a public figure. For God's sake, man, your failures are freaking content for bottom-crawling feeders like me trying to grow a channel. And as to whether we should, as viewers, treat him differently, I don't know. I don't think so, but what I do know is that we should have paths towards helping good people who have done bad things, within reason, to have some kind of redemption, especially if they've expressed true remorse and have taken measures to right the wrongs of the past and never do it again. Being able to forgive and, move on is important, because if that wasn't the case, pretty much all of us would be going to hell, But I'm curious, what do you guys think of all of this? Do you think Marques deserves to have a second chance, or should he be banished to an island and be forced to watch videos in 480p? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe. It really helps out with pushing this out in the algorithm and all that jazz. And with that being said, there's some great videos up to come. Coming soon. That's some great stuff you can check out already. See you soon. I guess Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Oh, sorry, Merry Christmas. I'm sorry. Apparently that's something important for some people. But hashtag not political. Bye bye.